Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. So who are those people?
We skipped the meek phone.
No.
No?
The gospel,
Well,
it's mourn in
this is different.
Gotcha.
So I'm reading the gospel.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Yep.
I'll shush.
Okay. So what is it that make you mourn? What do we mourn for or about, I guess? When you mourn,
Loss.
yes, loss. It's very good.
Various losses.
Like for example, very good.
If you go bankrupt, that's a loss.
Very good.
And
Excellent.
that's also
Loss of a child.
loss.
Yeah, the loss of a child. What else? Divorce.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay. Losing your job.
Very.
Losing a friendship that was very valuable to you.
Yes.
Mourning.
Now, is it referring to any kind of loss or just
Just,
I mean,
it's
I-
mourning.
I-
just
I
mourning.
think mourning in
Yeah.
general seems like
mourning in general?
any losses, basically any losses.
Yeah, but when you lose something material,
Well, that's
and
But that's a way
But
to
it's how you-
mourn too.
Yeah, but how do you react to the material loss?
Yeah.
let's say, for example, the people that back east, they lost their homes to the hurricane. All the people in the west coast that lost their home to the fire, they're mourning, I believe, not only materialistic thing, but their lost their
Livelihood. Their livelihood.
their livelihood, they work all their lives for that. Now they're mourning a huge loss for something that they work all their lives.
now we
Not-
go
not
back.
necessarily
We go back to
materialistic.
the first.
Beatitude. Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to figure out is when it's something something materialistic. I mean, a lot of times we lose something for a purpose, right? If we're so attached to that materialistic thing, then we can't really see beyond what God has for us. I guess I have problems figuring it out. What is it that I need to really be attached to? Obviously, it's God, but am I being self-centered or greedy when I am attached to materialistic things? Shouldn't I? God says, Jesus said, "Well, go and sell everything and follow me." You see what I'm
Depends if you place those things above God. If you would rather go to a movie or stay home and watch football on your big TV instead of go to church, you still have the TV at home if you go to church, right?
Yeah.
You don't value the TV more than you value God. If you lose something that understand that everything you have also is a gift from God. You just can't abuse those gifts from God. You can't love those more than than you love God.
I think in that sense, to complement what you're saying, Mike, if you got the calling to go and serve God rather than the material things, for example, a football game, I mean, just I look at it that way. You got the choice, for example, that, okay, for example, their retreat. We're called to attend the retreat, but for some odd reason, and I'll say this year for myself, I ran out of vacation. But my company puts me in a state that, okay, you cannot take more than 2 days off because you're going to be, you cannot miss more than 2 days in a row other than if you're sick or whatever. And even if you're sick, you're still liable for missing time paid. So the company puts you in a bind. So now, is there an exception to the rule where God says you're going to attend to what I'm calling, or my calling? You see what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm confused.
No, because God still wants you to provide for your family.
You know, I mourn like anybody. I've lost my parents and stuff, so sure I mourn. But where I see this mourning to me is if I commit a sin that I feel I need to go to confession for and I cannot receive, I mourn that until I can go flag Father down or somebody to get the confession so I can go back to receiving again. to me, that's an honest, deep, serious mourning.
Absolutely.
Because it
Yeah.
affects me very deeply. And Father, I'm sure he gets tired of it. I mean, when I need it, I'll grab him and drag him into a hole someplace, because we're gonna have a confession if he will do that. But that's mourning, because I know I can't receive, and to me, that's a huge loss to me.
So I guess what it means is there's very different types of mourning.
Yes.
From possessions to the loss of God to everything. There's just different types.
Separation.
Yes. And I
Because
just,
separation is a loss from all of those things you just mentioned. And sin is the worst of the separations. So now we don't even have God.
right.
Yes.
Because every sin you
We
create.
can lose a
separates
child,
you
but we
from
still
God.
have God. We can lose a job, but we still have God. We can lose, et cetera, all worldly things, we still have God. But when evil then makes us the most lost of all.
I know-
Another quick example, if I can say real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another one is the ones that I think young parents, that we got still young kids at home, myself, I'm saying that the kids don't want to follow you to church anymore. At first, they were going to the Catholicism, to everything, to the teachings and everything, and then all of a sudden, by the time they get to teenage, they don't want to follow you to church anymore. Does that turn into a mourning? Yes.
Yes.
Because now you feel like your kids are left hanging on the left field, and you're trying to take them through this path. I do more than that, because it's hard for me to, come on kids, you need to follow me, you need to follow me.
The other aspect of this beatitude, I think it is also, we all need to go through it, whatever kind, shape or form of mourning is. Why? The reason why is because it creates a sense of community and bonding among Christians. Is if he loses somebody through the death of a loved one, or going through a divorce, or losing something. Now, remember what Jesus says. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. What does that mean? Okay? There is an opportunity in the Christian community, among Christians, to support one another, to understand, to have the sympathy for this brother, for this sister that is going through this thing right now. So I can be in the shoes of this person and understand the pain, the loss, all the stuff, the suffering that is going through. This person is going through at this moment. Also, that is a very important thing. It's not, oh, poor me, my wife left me. No. It's that there is in the Christian community people that can support me, can be with me. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Not only by those people in the community, but also God will comfort us. But God comforts us through one another.
Think back at almost every retreat in the last 7. What was the most profound? There was many profound moments. But remember when there was individuals who were extremely hurting, what did we do? We bounced up. Huh?
We prayed over
That's right. We bounced up so fast we practically ran over each other trying to get to him, right? Or them, as the case may be. Because we felt the hurt. We felt the pain. Any whom of which could be sitting there ourselves.
I also wonder too, to be able to mourn, you have to have loved something deeply. So I think what God is saying is I love Mario deeply, and I would mourn the loss of Mario. So that love that I have for him is something we need to have to begin with, and then we have to have that mourning because of the love that we have for that other person or whatever it is. You have to be able to learn from that and gain from that.
So
1
what?
Peter 4:13. When you partake of the sufferings of Christ, rejoice that when his glory shall be revealed, you may also be glad with exceeding joy. So the sufferings, when we suffer, that's when. So when do we actually go and do our strongest prayers? When we are hurting, when we are suffering. So, if you have a loved one in the hospital, if you have faith, you will turn to God. You will turn to many saints to ask for intercession prayers. So how do we get closer to God? When we are suffering, we are getting closer to God.
But I think it's very important to have to keep in mind the communal aspect of this beatitude, that we are not alone, that we are all on the same boat, that we are here together, going through pains and sufferings, that whether they're different or similar is the same human experience. So what Jesus is saying here is, okay, if you suffer, if you mourn, you will be comforted, not only by him, but also by others in the community, because this is how God shows his love for us. It is when I hear, if you were in the hospital, there we are, running over there to support you and to pray. And one of the things that I do is, when I don't know the person, I pray for that person, because that is a way for Christians to be together with, that's the Christian way of being with one another. Okay? So are we done with this second beatitude?
Just one little thing.
Yes.
I think to be able to mourn also, if we're talking about what as Christians we should do when we mourn, is also allow people or the community to help.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems that I have is when I'm going through hard times, I tend to
isolate yourself.
And I have received a few lessons lately, but it's because when I'm really going with my life is going into trouble, I really absolutely isolate myself, and I don't let anybody in or help me.
And do you stay away then too?
Okay.
You know what does that? What?
You stay away from us.
Fear.
No,
but I think
that's how sin acts.
Mhm.
That's the consequence of sin, actually.
But I think it's also part of obviously the biggest sin that we have, pride.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's continue.